February 6th.
This is January 6th. January 6th, 2021. We've now crossed the barrier to a new year. God has many new things for us. I'll talk some about it, I think, today. Probably next week as well. Of what He's doing, what He's going to do in your life. Welcome to Roar from the Mountain, Roar from Zion. From here, beautiful Lions Mountain, and I'm Dr. R.S. Hoekstra, and we're going to get started here. First of all, I'm very grateful for the stimulus checks. I was able to pray and fight for them, but this time I was also able to influence some people that had literal influence on this. So we fought for those checks, literally, and let people be, in Washington, we let them know that we had access to that. This was ridiculous. That none of them went without a salary, including the governor of Michigan and the attorney general and everyone else. They went without nothing. While they let these businesses close, while they let people not work, while they destroyed people's lives. And we let Washington knew that some stimulus check was due, that people needed those, especially around Christmas. So I'm very grateful that I was able to pray and do the spiritual warfare, but also to have a literal say in that. And to have influence is really an amazing thing in these hours, that God gives us influences with kings and princes sometimes, and he has. I want to thank everyone from the last stimulus check. Everybody tithed on it. I was so impressed with you all in Grand Rapids, here, everyone, and the tithe. Like I said, last time it was incredible. Tithe is 10%, not 5%. It's 10% of your income, of what you get. That's 10%. If you sell a car, you give 10% to the Lord. If you sell a house, you give 10% to the Lord. If you sell something of great value, you give 10%. And it's any increase. And the spiritual component of that is humility. I recently, the last few weeks, realized anyone I had in church that had problems with tithing, they were usually thought they were superior to everyone else, and they thought people should be tithing to them. So there's a humility with tithing that I don't think we've ever tapped into or even thought about, but the spiritual humility of it. So when you tithe, what are you saying? Carol, what are you saying when you tithe? What is the statement that you're making?
Giving to the Lord, and He's given me this, and it's just His part that's due. Saying
it's part that's due.
Trusting You, and
I'm dependent on You.
Yeah.
If I sell a car, I'm dependent that you're going to help me sell it. If I sell a house, if you ever sold a house, it can be a nightmare. We prayed and fasted to sell a house, and and it was all in timing, or buildings, or any of this stuff. It's always so. It's really saying the humility of everything I have is yours, and I have it because you gave it to me. And so what He's asked is for 10% of that, of your increase. And people have been great. Like I said, with stimulus checks, it was amazing of how faithful people were. And we're very grateful for that. And when people are unified in that in the church, there's also power in that. And we've always had a lot of people unified. And anyone that ever stirred up trouble, usually first they'd say they didn't want to tithe. Then they'd start doing stuff against it. So, like in Bible school and in seminary, we learned that if someone stops tithing, to always look, because usually your problems file right after that. But so I want you guys to understand this principle of humility. Anyone that's had problems usually with tithing, what do you think that is? Because we're saying that you're saying everything I have is because of You. Then what is someone that lacks that humility? What are they saying?
I don't need You.
say it loud, because your family is incredible. When your nephew came in and first got saved, he has been consistently tithing. Whatever problems that he's had and issues in his life, that man has consistently tithed. He's a hero when it comes to that. And when he says anything about money, I listen carefully to him because he has the record that backs it up. So that's one thing, I look at people's lives. When they want to tell me things or things, I see, what have you said with your life? What have you said without your words? What have you said with... And so go ahead and share that, because like I said, your nephew, your family, it's been incredible. What a generational blessing. And I hope it passes on to the others, that they realize, that. So go ahead, what were you saying?
It's like saying everything I have is mine, and why should I give you what's mine, kind of.
Everything I have is mine, why should I give you what's mine? Yeah. Yeah, I'm a self-made man. But I've been really, when he started saying, it's a humility thing. And people saying, I don't have to do it because I know so much. And then really, the thing is almost like a Lucifer, like, not only I know so much, but I know so much of the things of the Spirit that you should be tithing to me instead. So it's, Lucifer, he went and he exalted his throne. He took a position that wasn't his. He wanted something that wasn't his, what he didn't earn, didn't deserve. And usually with people with that, it's the same thing. So if you ever get in the ministry, always watch that. And those that tithe, that have that humility, usually can trust with a lot of things. Okay, along those lines too, different people are inquiring about church and the ministry. And what I want you to understand about the apostolic and prophetic especially is anyone that's an apostle or prophet has probably been trained at least 20 years before they become a mature. And before that, even before the ministry and the teaching of things, is the dealings of God. They've been through dealings of God. They've been through loss. They've been through heartbreak. They've experienced things, like what Judson Cornwell said, leaders eat what you serve. And so they have experienced those things, and they have been through that. They have died to things, and that's why they can that's why they can impart life to you. The apostolic and prophetic especially, they impart life. Even those that have gone off, and the gifts and callings about repentance, they paid a price to even get that place. Even if we went to church history and Bible history, we'd see that people that really that walked in great miracles and powers and things, it didn't just happen to them. They fasted, they prayed, they pressed in, they stepped out in faith. They did these things, and God blessed them and gave them it, and then they weren't a good steward of it. But still, it had cost them something. So anything in the church that's not cheap, there's been a price paid for it. And so anyone can read the Bible and teach you something, because the Bible is powerful in itself. Unsaved people that read the Bible, or a lot of times in the Catholic Church, people are not even saved. They read the Bible, and people are touched by it because it's the Bible. It's the living Word of God. But when you have somebody that has been made by the hand of God, and tested, and tried, and proved, and been through things, then they can give you life. Then they can be God's friends, and you can trust them with His secrets. And so when you come into a church, you come under the covering of that church and that leader, and you come under that blessing that comes with that church, the revelation that comes with that church. And so what we're talking about is life-giving. Not all churches are life-giving. There's lots of churches that are social clubs. They're nice, and you eat apple pie together and things like that. You have inspirational sermons. You encourage each other, but they're not really what a church is, because a life-giving church is that you go away changed, That's the key thing. If you met a man or woman of God that has been processed and touched by God, you're going to be changed in those meetings. Because that's, what is the goal of the church? What is God's goal for you? Maturity, I love it. It's it. It's mature. It's to grow up. And so you can sit in a church for 20, 30 years and never grow up, never be challenged. A man or woman of God that has been tested and tried and really knows God is not going to be caring about your comfort. They're going to be caring about your maturity. They're going to care that you're changed. And they're going to go after your idols. Because if they're led by the Holy Spirit's going to take away everything that separates you and Him. And if your idol is, say, an education, and you say, Jesus, I want you to be Lord, He's going to remove that education until your heart's pure and clean with it. If it's a man or it's a woman, I've got to have this man or this woman. You want all those things from Him, from His hand, and with His blessing. And not just because there's some need that needs to be fulfilled in you. And you just go after a man or a woman, you're going to be a very sad person usually, when God's not in it. He has mercy. He'll try to save the kids and all that stuff, but it doesn't always work that way. Honestly. It's just better to do things His way first, don't you think? That's what the whole Bible is about, to warn us. And if we listen, we can avoid a lot of problems and a lot of pain. We don't have to go through severe pain all the time if we'll listen to the voice of the Holy Spirit and do what He says. And listen as what He's saying in church, and listen to what He's saying through the Word of God, and listen to Him. So that being said, today is an incredible day. This is January 6th. Some believe that this day is going to be written down like the 4th of July and all those things, because of some of the things that may happen yet today or maybe tomorrow, I don't know. But what I want to do is share a little bit what happened. It looks like 2 million people went to Washington, D.C. And when they went, they shut off the power on them. The mayor used the police against them. The mayor brought in Antifa with armed police and used them, and then Antifa went and put on uniforms of Trump supporters, and then they went and invaded the Capitol. And people are already doxing these people because they're already taking pictures of them and finding out who they were, and they're finding them at Antifa rallies and Black Lives Matter and all that, and they were not Trump supporters. So the police with the mayor come together and try to create this illusion that people are taking over the Capitol. And they're even stealing stuff. And it's the dumbest thing. If you have any sense, you're watching Antifa hit it's supposed to be MAGA supporters hitting the police, and it's like a ballet. Okay? If you watch enough movies, you're like, wow, you must be so stupid. You know, you practiced this for CNN. How many time rehearsals did you have? Yeah, it was like, practically the police opened the doors of the Capitol for him, let them walk in. This was nonsense.
They actually went in the building?
Yes, they went in the building and started taking stuff. Yeah, stealing stuff.
Not the White House, the state capitol.
This Capitol.
Oh, Michigan?
No.
Washington.
Washington, where the House of Representatives
Oh, the
is.
state of Washington.
Congress.
No, he said state, I'm saying it's federal.
Okay, yes, it's
So it was the
federal.
White House.
No, it's Congress.
They went into the Congress.
Yes.
Where Congress and Senate meet.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so they went in there, started taking things, vandalizing all that. It was all filmed. Lots of, good pictures of them. They're posing for it and stuff. Again, all drama, all theater. This is total communist stuff. This used to be funny. There's a movie called Don't Drink the Water. And Jackie Gleason goes with his family to see Europe. And at the beginning, they go to Europe. And on the way back to Europe, the plane gets hijacked. And ends up like in Bulgaria or something like that. And so they're waiting for on the plane, and they go off and start taking pictures. So they're called spies, and then they run to a car, an embassy car they see sitting, and they have to go hide out in the embassy. And so they said at 5 o'clock, the protests that are supposed to be spontaneous will happen with the students. And some of these students are like 70 years old, and they're coming in with their signs and everything brought in by the police. You know, that used to be a joke. It used to be funny. We used to laugh at stuff like that. But now it's it's the normal. It's normal news. And if you're not too bright and you don't search things out, you're going to believe, you know, that at 5 o'clock when the students come and the 70-year-old students are holding, you know, things, that this is really spontaneous demonstration. And that's what's going on at every level. We just watched them destroy Detroit, Minnesota, poor Minnesota. What was it, like $1 trillion of damage that they did, and looting and rioting? But when they try to say that MAGA's there, then they shut off the lights, shut off the electrical. I mean, there's 2 million people there in a meeting, and all of a sudden the lights go off. And the electrical. Someone just brings out their, you know, loud, you know, megaphone that doesn't need electrical. They shut down, they made the airlines charge them more money. They made sure the hotels couldn't have them. They went into a shutdown of all the restaurants and all the bathrooms. And I mean, these people live with some discomfort today. They did everything they could at every level. And it's disgusting and it's embarrassing. And the world's watching us, and they're saying in the elections today, same thing. Last night they shut down, said we're done counting, and then today they had thousands and thousands of extra votes. Like magic.
They did the same thing.
And so a man that's been known to molest children or abuse children, abuse his wife, and Joy Castro and stuff was supposed to be elected to the Senate after their fake votes. And people are furious. Normal people, 90 million people, are furious. Of all races and everything else, because this is not. These people had no right ever to do what they've done. They had no right to give themselves billions of dollars while saying, we don't even know if we can give you $600.
Yeah.
Giving us peanuts, thinking nothing of us. Go look at the way they treat some of the people and their staff and stuff. These people literally think they're gods. And today, Gretchen Whitmer posted a picture of the woman that was in charge of the voter fraud, this horrible, demonic woman, and she's on a candle like a saint, like worship. And this is what these people want. They want to be worshipped. They really feel they are gods. They're the saddest looking gods that ever came out of the sewer, but they think they're gods. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to read the actual Q post. So you're going to hear the actual post of Q. So we have told you a lot of things, and I want to show you where it is. What Q was it started about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and Q is the highest clearance in the military intelligence. And so they called it Q as there's a group that of military intelligence, and probably the president, probably some of his family, like Don Jr., and they leak military intelligence, but they do it as codes and riddles and things, because they can't just leak military intelligence. So they can in the manner they're doing it. And then it's up to us to try to figure out what they're saying. And a lot of times there's warnings, and there's dates, and there's dates. Something may appear on November 11th, 2018, and it'll be saying something about that's going to happen on 2020, November 18. And so I'm going to give you a little of that and read some of these things and explain some of these things to you. Here's a Q post from December 23rd, 2017, and it says, "Who is number two? Who is number two? No deals. Q." So I look at that and say number 2. When I say number 2, what do you guys think of? Who is number 2? Okay, vice president. Well, the vice president today just showed himself a traitor and part of the deep state. As much as he said he loved Jesus, apparently he didn't love Jesus, or he loved money more, or he loved communism more, or Satan. I don't know what where he's at with these things, but that's what these people are all into. So, so who is number 2? No deals. Q. So whoever number 2 is, there's no deals, and if that's vice president, then he's not getting a deal. This is called the 16-year plan to destroy America.
What did he do that showed himself a traitor?
I'll talk more about that, or Ari will. Barack Obama, 8 years. So his goal was to weaken the USA globally and get us ready for a new world order. So he's to destroy the United States and get them ready for the next step. He installed rogue operators in the government. So he put bad people in the CIA, FBI, National Security Agency, Department of Justice, Attorney General, all these wicked, demonic people that did not care about the nation of the United States. Some of them were Islamists, Muslims. Their loyalty was to China, and again, a lot of them to Satan. Remove the good guys from government. So you put in the bad guys, you remove the good ones, and the ones that are nationalists, meaning a nationalist means a person that loves the nation, the United States. If you're in Mexico and you're a nationalist, that means you love Mexico. If you're in Israel and you're a nationalist, that means you love Israel. If you have to be white in the United States and love America, then you are a white nationalist. Doesn't mean white power and all that. It was another word the media used to scare and terrify people and make them afraid. Say, I don't want to be a white nationalist. And basically all you're doing is what we were taught in school. I pledge allegiance to the flag. And I love America. Fund terrorism. MS-13 ISIS, which you did. Leak classified intelligence and military secrets. They did that a lot, and they got paid for that. So they would leak very secret things to China and Iran and different things like that. So he was very good at his job. Special access program sell-off. Nuclearized North Korea and Iran. So to make sure that Iran got a bomb, that's part of his job. Cut military funding. He destroyed the military. That was almost nothing. We could have been taken over by the next president, and that was a plan. Weaken National Security Agency, reveal programs. Fund and supply North Korea and Iran. Weaken the command of the generals. Target and weaken conservative base. I was audited 2 times during Obama's administration. I was audited by the IRS twice. My little weak income was audited. That's what they did. Different people, they targeted them. And later on, they spied on people. They spied on journalists. They spied on different ones. They always laughed about Nixon's enemy list, but Obama had a real enemies list. And he had a lot of people that had information. He created a huge database on everybody with all his enemies. That was said at the beginning about how exciting it was that he had this database. And if you paid attention to the things and you add them up, and it's pretty disgusting and abusive. Stage Supreme Court. Kill NASA, space supremacy, and that would create an EMP risk. An EMP is a device that kills all the electric. So if they release an EMP, it kills all the electric in a certain range. If you put it in a warhead and stuff, it could take out the whole nation, all the grids, everything. Cars are electrical, they won't run. So anything electrical would have been. Relax the borders, flood illegals. And so under his thing, you erase the borders and let as many illegals come in as want. So that's what his job was, and he was pretty successful at it. The 16-year plan to destroy America. Now Hillary was supposed to be president, and she knew the voter fraud was in, so she was so shocked that she wasn't. If you see her, she's just amazed of what happened, what intervened, that she wasn't president.
Yeah.
And she's still enraged, going around saying she should be president, and it was voter fraud. And their voter fraud didn't work because they got caught, and they did something to them to shut her down. So Hillary Clinton, her job was World War III, real and orchestrated. So to create World War III, change the Constitution, close all the U.S. military bases, especially globally, population control and pocket billions, ban sale of firearms and repeal amendments, so take the guns. Is anyone scared now? This is what they had planned for us.
Yeah, but it's the concentration camps.
Destroy and censor opposing news outlets. Eliminate all the final good guys left in the government. So she was to make sure that the rest of them were gone. Install corrupt Supreme Court justices. Open the borders to illegals. Kill the economy. Starve and enslave the public.
Just what they're doing now.
Remove the electoral college and install a popular vote. See, Democratic vote is you can do anything with Democratic vote. That's how Venezuela and all those, that. Limit and remove military funding. They never thought she would lose. Because they had it all planned. She wasn't supposed to lose. Another Q post, July 25th, 2018. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it. This is the Founding Fathers. And to institute new government. Lay its foundation on such principles and organize its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, tyranny, it is their right, their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Q. You know that's in the Constitution or Declaration of Independence. This is, I'm sure, taken right from that. The main thing that we're looking for is this. This is a code that's going to be on Twitter. We're looking for this tweet. Today's Wednesday. This could happen by Friday. For some reason, we believe that Friday is the day. Exactly this. My fellow Americans, the storm is upon us. God bless. That's the code. We watched The Hiding Place. Remember the different codes that said things and stuff? This is the code. This is the code that everything's unleashed. My fellow Americans, the storm is upon us. God bless. So look at anything that talks about storm. Those are usually hints and the president's guy, what's his name, his press secretary or whatever, he's probably part of Q, but he also has been posting a lot of things about storms lately.
Scavino or Pompeo?
What's the first name?
Scavino.
Scavino.
Dan Scavino.
Scavino's been posting a lot of things of storms. Pompeo is very close to this, Secretary of the State. He's also posting, Secretary of Defense, isn't it?
State, I think.
State.
Okay, State. Good. It's posting these things about storms, pictures of storms. A lot of pictures, a lot of clues and things. Does everyone understand it? Because you have been listening to me. I appreciate that and take my word for it. But now I'm reading you right to the sources.
Yes, Paul and I were just talking about this today, about the storm was coming very quickly. We were in the car coming home from work, and said, this storm is coming very close. You can feel it.
Absolutely. After he says this, the president will be well insulated, protected on Air Force One and abroad, specific locations classified. While these operations are conducted due to the nature of the entrenchment. Entrenchment means that they are stuck in there and they have to be pulled out. So the president's going to be in hiding while military operations are going on and they're getting these people. All right, this is right from Q again. A lot of times things are signed Q plus, and that's the symbol for the president. So when it's Q plus, that means the president's involved in whatever's said. It is time to take back our country and make America great again. Let us salute and pray for the brave men and women in uniform who will undertake this assignment to bring forth peace, unity, and return power to the people. It is our hope that this message reaches enough people to make a meaningful impact. We can yet telegraph this message through normal methods for reasons I'm sure everyone here can understand. File the questions from the previous threads and remain calm. The primary targets are within Washington, D.C., and remain at the top on both sides. The spillover in the streets will be quickly shut down. Look for more false flags. So a false flag is like when they have a school shooting. They're usually involved in that. And a false flag is usually to get their attention off something else in the news, and also to take guns. So they set up a school shooting or whatever, and a lot of times, again, this is hard to believe if this is even possible, but they'll show that a lot of the people in the false flag are actors and in others. Sometimes they're professional actors. Like that one kid that's always shooting his mouth off, Hog. He was in high school and he was like 25 years old or something, and they're wondering why is this kid in high school, and he's things like that. But his dad worked for the CIA, so put the pictures together. A lot of them are CIA actors. Somebody showed 3 different school shootings or whatever, and the same people at all the shootings.
Wow.
So how could you be live in different states and you're all at the same? Yeah. So there's a lot of weird stuff like that. Doesn't mean, and sometimes they get people on really bad psychotropic meds, and they can release a frequency, a sound, and get them to go and kill someone or something like that. And they've known a lot about the frequency and stuff since like the 70s. So they get someone that's already troubled, and that a lot of times people have already warned about and said this person's doing stuff, and they don't do anything, and then all of a sudden they're shooting up a school. So research it. Some of this is hard to swallow. I'm asking you just to examine things and think about things, research them. So false flags. Stay alert, be vigilant, and above all, please pray. And this is what Q said. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. Love is patient, love is kind. God bless my fellow Americans. 4:10:20. So
4:10:20.
Yep, that's 4:10:20. Sometimes there are codes for days and stuff. There's just a lot of codes. If you're a person that's really into codes and
4:10:20 is Trump's initials. DJT.
Oh,
so there's a lot of stuff like that when you start cryptography. My fellow Americans, over the course of the next several days, you will undoubtedly realize that we are taking back our great country, the land of the free, from the evil tyrants that wish to do us harm and destroy the last remaining refuge of shining light. As many have said, if the United States goes, the rest of the world goes. This is it. We are the guardians of the world. And we've been so compromised by people that have been selling us out to China, crooked judges, we got to taste a lot of that out first, and because it was so mind-blowing. The first time I saw that kind of injustice, I was shocked. I was stunned for days. It still is a traumatic wound, because I've always believed that judges and things were just, and they wanted to be right, and they wanted to be, and they feared God. You know, they're in that place. A judge is in that place not because they're so powerful and can pay bribes and they're so great or gods. They're in that place because God put them in there to bring justice. They're in His stead. He has delegated justice to them. And instead, they spit on it. And it's whoever can bribe them or whatever they belong to. I don't know, Masons or are they dead worshippers? I don't know. Even in Mason County, man, what is wrong with these people? I'll tell you what, they sure don't fear God. No fear of God. We agree on that in Jesus' name. Every one of them will have fear of God. They will not even have those positions. Tonight they'll resign because of scary dreams. Lord, I ask that hell would open at their feet. The flames would lick at their feet and terrorize them. Because they are so close. That's what we've been talking about last few weeks. Riding your bike and boom. Riding your motorcycle, boom. On the highway and it's on ice and boom, it's over. It's all over. They'll destroy the last remaining refuge of shining light. On the President's orders, we have initiated certain fail-safes that shall safeguard the public from the primary fallout, which is slated to occur 11/3 upon the announcement of Mr. Podesta. So there they're talking about Podesta. Now, if you know who's Podesta, he was, I very encourage you to go look up his art collection. Because there's collections of little children that are chained and tortured and at bottoms of pools. There's another one of a statue from that was made to look like Jeffrey Dahmer's victims. This is a person that was a heartbeat away from the presidency under Obama. This is the one that's involved in why they're talking. His emails were hacked, and they found emails about $65,000 for pizza and hot dogs from Chicago that Obama flew in, which are code names for pedophiles. They're code names for children. And Podesta's involved in this stuff. There's even some that say there's a video of him doing something to children. You know, and you can't even see these things because they're illegal to watch. So even if they come out, some of this is going to be illegal. You can't even see it because it's banned. You know, so the crimes are covered like that too. How do you prosecute a crime that you're not even allowed to see? There's going to have to be changes in things. They're going to have to be smart about this. But the first arrest, he said, is Podesta. I'm not sure where Podesta is right now. Hopefully he's in Washington waiting to get arrested. But this is what Q said. I don't know why he said Podesta. He's a bad, bad man, I know that. Actionable 11.4. Confirmation of the public of what is occurring will then be revealed and will not be openly accepted. Public riots are being organized in serious numbers in an effort to prevent the arrest and capture of more senior public officials. This is November 1st, 2017, before we had any riots, Antifa, any of that stuff. And it said that public riots are already being organized. When the arrests come, there's others that don't want to be arrested, and they're going to start the riots as a false flag. Public riots are being organized in serious numbers in an effort to prevent the arrest and capture of more senior public officials. On the President's order, a state of temporary military control will be actioned and special ops carried out. False leaks have been made to retain several within the confines of the United States to prevent extradition and special operator necessity. Rest assured, the safety and well-being of every man, woman, and child in this country is being exhausted and full. However, the atmosphere within the country will unfortunately be divided, as so many have fallen to the corrupt and evil narrative that this long has been broadcast. We will be initiating the Emergency Broadcasting System, EMS, during this time in an effort to provide a direct message, avoiding the fake news to all citizens, organizations, and or people that wish to do us harm during the time. Okay, toss it for organizations. So they will take over the airwaves with the emergency broadcasting system. They'll shut off the internet. They'll shut off all TV programming, and you will get government programs, probably with confessions and things. You'll see these different people confessing to their crimes, and possibly be even executed. All right, everyone understand this?
Yes.
These are Q posts. This isn't something I made up or fantasized. This is where we're getting things.
Are they planning on doing this before January 20th?
This could be happening any day, Carol. After what just happened in Georgia, I think that was the last thing they wanted to happen.
Yeah.
That gave them more proof.
Yeah, and I think things are about really to. The president said today, "Go home. You know, we're ready now to do."
He told the people to go home?
He told them to go home.
The 2 million?
Yes.
Well, that's good. That means it got done.
Yeah, he said whatever had to be done had to be done. What did he say exactly, Ari?
They did it.
He said the crowd needed to be dispersed.
But he said also,
You go home, you know, we thank you for coming. We peacefully protest. Love you all.
Good,
that's what he said.
good.
So what had to be done was done. Now, as I was telling some of you, in Washington D.C., they had huge pallets of bricks, and not only that, they had huge pallets of propane gas tanks. And Paul is telling me that one tank, properly done, can level a whole house.
Yes.
Yes, it could level us.
Absolutely.
One tank.
120 pounds long.
Oh, my goodness.
So they had it stacked up next to the bricks. That means the mayor of D.C. was involved in literally trying to bomb, and the police, and the police in Washington D.C. have been very corrupt. They've covered up a lot of murders, and they've been involved in this stuff. And a lot of these people, they just need to be arrested and sent to prison or executed because they're traitors and treason.
That's all the children could be missing, because more children get missing from Washington.
Washington D.C. is one of the biggest ones of the children abducted. One of my friends that was a dove worshiper told me that Washington is one of the powerful things in dove worship, where a lot of the leaders are in politics. He told me that almost 20 years ago.
20 years.
Yeah, 20 years ago it's been.
Just like you say, it's because the power is drawn to their head and they all think they're untouchable.
They think they're gods.
Right.
And they think they're untouchable, absolutely. And what we're finding out is they're not untouchable. Even Gretchen Whitmer and her posted her little god today. Thought that's funny. To do voter fraud, to despise our Constitution, to despise our republic, to despise all the people that died and stuff, and post that to show the voter fraud in Georgia, was spitting on us and everyone else. And we've had to watch this witch continually mock, continually her adoration of her fans, which I call Manson girls, the Boys and girls, because they're always posting and saying, "Oh, you're the most wonderful governor."
Really?
Well, I'll tell you what, I bet they don't have any income they earn. They must have, great riches or something, or because they're not hurting. Because no one in their right mind is going to be worshiping somebody that's. So the EMS. And what was it in summer that went off? Gretchen likes to use that EMS all the time too for her stupid nonsense.
Yeah, it comes across phones and everything.
Closing down things.
Yeah.
That's part of her goddessness. During this time, an effort to provide a direct message, avoiding the fake news to all citizens. Any organizations or people that wish to do us harm during this time will be met with swift fury. Amen. We agree on that in Jesus' name. Swift fury.
Yes.
Justice. We decree justice. We fasted and prayed. Now we want justice for every child that was molested, for every penny they've stolen from us, for their arrogance, for their allegiance to Satan,
Yes.
and what they've done to us to try to enslave us. And with China, we ask for justice, Lord. Lord, I hold before you our ancestors that came over on the Mayflower, and the Puritans that came over, and the Revolutionary War, and World War I and World War II, and Lord, the blood that's been spilled, Vietnam, the price that's been paid to fight communism while our leaders are making deals with communists.
But every broadcasting station out there over these 4 years have led it up to this too.
Yeah, they have.
They've tricked everybody. Every older person believes that Trump lied. They're for it. They're for this because they think it's so great. But they've been lied to all this time for these past how many
They're
years?
deceived. It's a lying spirit.
Yep.
We bind that lying, deceiving spirit
Yes,
off those people right now in Jesus' name, and we speak for truth. That truth will be released as never before, and people will be willing to face it.
Face it.
Yes.
Like a slap in the face. Well,
Swift fury. Certain laws have been pre-lifted to provide our great military the necessity authority to handle and conduct these operations at home and abroad.
and abroad, so they can go get them.
They're going after everyone, including other countries and things. They've got all kinds of stuff that's going down. How to Create a Socialist State by Saul Alinsky. Hillary wrote her thesis for college on Saul Alinsky, and Obama literally was mentored by Saul Alinsky, and it was his hero. I have a book by Saul Alinsky, and in the dedication, Saul Alinsky dedicates the book to the great rebel Lucifer. Saul was an apostate Jew that was a communist that showed how to destroy America. And there's a huge influence on the people I just mentioned. How to Create a Socialist State by Saul Alinsky. There are 8 levels of control that must be obtained before you are able to create a socialist state. The first is the most important. Healthcare. Control healthcare and you control the people. Poverty. Increase the poverty level as high as possible. Poor people are easier to control and will not fight back if you're providing everything for them to live. Debt. Increase the debt to an unsustainable level. That way you're able to increase taxes and this will produce more poverty.
Can't get much more than that than today.
Next number 4, gun control. Remove people's ability to defend themselves from the government. That way you're able to create a police state. 5, welfare. Take control of every aspect of their lives. Food, housing, and income. Education. Take control of what people read and listen to. Take control of what children learn in school. Think Common Core.
Common Core.
Religion. Remove the belief in God from the government and schools. Class warfare. Divide the people into the wealthy and poor. This will cause more discontent and it will be easier to tax the wealthy with the support of the poor. This is a quote from Julian Assange, who was a hero. He's one of the ones that created WikiLeaks. He's been ruthlessly persecuted. They found all kinds of crimes for him. They've tried to imprison him. The Democrats hate him, want him dead. We believe very much that Trump's going to pardon him. Some things are going on right now today with him, and he knows everything. He's another one that knows everything, all their secrets. And they've had him silenced. And Julian says this quote, so he's a hero and a hacker. When all is exposed, 98% of Washington will fall.
98%.
When all is exposed. And they're dealing with him today. There's things going on with him today that are secret. Q, if you continue to proceed down this dangerous path, only know that we are prepared. You should know this based on earlier drops. Saudi Arabia, National Guard, military assets activate U.S. soil. The game is over when the public knows. The fight to keep the lights off is all that matters to you. You will fail. The American people are awake. You lose control. Cheat no more. You underestimated their resolve and their ability to free think and away from this pipeline narrative. We will declassify. We will shine light. There's nowhere to hide. No amount of money, influence, or power can stop this. Our rights to secure and protect at all costs then become justified. We stand at the ready. Red wave, white squall, in God we trust. Q.
Can't even have that on the school anymore. They've taken it down on everyone there is.
Does the president know where the bodies are buried? Does the president have the goods on most bad actors? Was Trump asked to run for president? Why? By who? Was Hillary next in line? Was the election supposed to be rigged? Did good people prevent the rigging? Why did the president form a panel to investigate? Has the president ever made a statement that did not become proven as true or fact? No. This man's kept his word more than probably
Anybody else,
ever.
No.
What is the president in control of? What is the one organization left that isn't corrupt? Why does the military play such a vital role? Why is the president surrounded by highly respected generals? So he's talking about the part that military plays, because you can trust the FBI, CIA, or anyone else. To those watching, you know who you are. You have a choice to make. You can stand up and do what is right, what you know to be right, or you can suffer the consequences of your previous actions. Make no mistake, you're on the losing side. The choice is yours. If you decide to take down PLL and the net, we will be ready.
There's not one of them that will give each other up. I can guarantee you that. There's not one of them that's gonna speak the truth and come out with it.
Oh, they'll be making.
Oh, they're turning each other in already. There's a lot of people that already have came forth, and oh yeah, they're not honored. All those collaborating in this crime against humanity, and that includes compliant politicians, dishonest journalists, obedient bureaucrats, and silent healthcare professionals, should remember after that we win this war, which we will, they will be tried for their crimes. That's hospital administrators. That's nursing home administrators. We are going after everyone. I will personally see to this city. This is my project. Obama sent $221 million to Palestinians right before leaving office. The payout. Amazing how things can make sense once you are asked a question. That the entire point of this operation, it's up to you to collect, archive safely, and distribute in a graphic that is in order with a crumb. It will make off sense. Once it does, we look to you to spread and get the word out. Timestamps will help you validate authenticity. So there's a lot of things with timestamps and stuff. A lot of times the president will do codes and things. He'll send codes in his tweets. He'll send codes in pictures. Sometimes it's a picture that looks really innocent and he's doing something. And so this has all been a lot of underground, and he's like crumbs. So he's saying, you know, I want you to be Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys and put these clues together. And that's what's happening. A lot of people spend a lot of time doing this. And get the word out. Your president needs your help. He wants full transparency for the great people of this country. Everything stated is for a reason. God bless Patriots Q. Crumbs dropped will paint the full picture. The picture will open the eyes of the world. We can't do it without you. God bless you all, Q.
Why have they wanted it to fall so hard? Why have they put this much effort into making America fall?
I think it's a good question. Why did they want America to fall? Because there's been people that for thousands of years have been preparing for a world government. And a lot of them have actually been in touch with demonic entities and principalities that have helped them. Some of them have written books. The demons wrote the books, like The Externalization of the Hierarchy by Alice Bailey. The demons wrote that book and told them, what we want you to do is, in the spirit realm, we want you to bring us from the spirit realm into the natural realm. And we're to come here and be your gods. So there's a lot of people that have had great wealth and power, and they have used that for the furthering. And you have to tie all the ends together, the loose ends, or it doesn't make sense. So some of these people are devil worshippers. Some are stone communists. A lot of times you'll find some of the stone communists are also devil worshippers. It's just hidden, unless you really research and go deep. Then you can find out the secret things.
Every strand of the rope.
So the people have been preparing actually for the reign of the Antichrist and for Satan. Every one world currency has always been followed by one world leader.
One world.
So if you get the currency and it becomes a one world currency, which it was the petrodollars under the oil, now they're changing it. They wanted it to be China. And then someone to rise up out of that China, and so they wanted the whole earth to be like China and it go under the social credit system. And a lot of the Obama and Hillary people were great admirers of China and how Chinese communism was. And so they're working with that and Islam and Satan to destroy our country and enslave us. And they think that we are backwards thinking. What do they say about guns and they're clinging to their guns and their religion?
So how come there hasn't been any other people besides Trump that's trying to stop this over the years?
There has been. One of them was Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
And Ronald Reagan, they let him get shot, and he almost died. He did die, actually, and Jesus came to him and said, I'm going to raise you from the dead. I'll make you the greatest president ever if you fight against abortion and homosexuality and some of these things. If you fight against them, I'll make you one of the greatest presidents. And if you notice that from when he was shot, before he shot to after he shot, he was a whole totally different person. And he really found God and really lived for God after that. The other one was John F. Kennedy, and he said, I'm going to destroy the CIA, I'm going to spread it to 1,000 pieces. And he also was auditing the Federal Reserve. Now, the Federal Reserve is not federal. It's a private bank owned by European bankers and some others. And they use it, they can create depressions or anything else. It was all done illegally. What are you doing?
Rachel,
Oh, okay.
she was trying to sneak some Cheez-Its.
I see. The banking system was used to control like the depression and things like that. And obviously, if they keep us in poverty and that's their goal, they use that banking system. So the federal is private owned, which is illegal, and it has an amazing amount of power. Now, what he did during his reign, the 4 years, he switched the Federal Reserve under himself and put people in it. I mean, that's one of the things. Lots of people have been killed for even messing with the Federal Reserve, but he put it under himself and took away their power. Now the news didn't come and show you, look what the president did,
Right.
They twisted it or whatever, but this is what he did. Instead of fooling with them and stuff and auditing them, all that, he just put it right under himself and took away their power. And one of these Q posts that says that they've been slowly taking away their power, taking away their money, taking away their trafficking in children, taking where they made money, taking away the adrenochrome, taking away the organ harvesting. All these things these people were involved in for huge money, the drug trafficking, and he stopped it. And so Congress, senators are not getting as much money as they were because a lot of their corrupt crimes have now been shut down. So they're getting desperate for these great, huge amounts of money. I don't even know what they do with them, but you'd think they'd be happy with what they have. Before President departs on Friday, he will be sending an important message via Twitter. So this one says a Friday. This is November 2nd, 2017. So November 2nd, 2017, but they're saying that he's going to leave on a Friday, and he'll be sending an important message via Twitter. God bless us. And after that, Twitter shuts him down and cancels him. And then he said, and the message is, my fellow Americans, the storm is upon us. God bless you. That's the message that we're waiting for.
That's when the riots and everything will start right away.
This is Epstein's flight logs. These are some of the people that were on Epstein. Alec Baldwin, he likes to make fun of the president every week on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
But he's here on this flight log for Epstein.
Oh,
I'm just going to read the names that people know. Barack Obama, Ben Affleck, Beyonce, Bill Clinton, Bill Murray, Charlie Sheen, Chelsea Handler. Chelsea Handler's another hater of Trump all the time. Chrissy Teigen. We followed her and fought her pretty hard. She was bragging about molesting children and pedophile things. and even saying sick things in tweets, and people captured her tweets and were posting things she said, and some of these people, they have become so brazen in the, because there's so many powerful people doing it. How do you stop them? Demi Moore. Jim Carrey, Jimmy Kimmel, John Legend, Kathy Griffin, Katy Perry, Kevin Spacey, Lynn Rothschild, Madonna, Eminem, Meryl Streep. We also have Meryl Streep going to the cannibal restaurant where they eat human people. That was in California.
Meryl Streep did?
Yeah, they're all into that. They into cannibalism and eating the humans.
Weren't a lot of them eating aborted fetuses too? Like parts.
They could be. It's sick stuff.
I've seen that, yeah.
Baby brain.
Oprah Winfrey,
Oh, yeah.
Robert Downey Jr., Seth Green,
Isaac Kathy outed Seth Green.
Lady Gaga, Steven Spielberg, Stephen Colbert, Steven Tyler, Tom Hanks, Will Ferrell, Woody Allen, Will Smith.
And Wilson. So much for the Fresh Prince, huh?
So much for
There's a
Hollywood.
long word,
This is a quote from Kamala Harris on June 18th, 2020. Once Trump's gone and we have regained our rightful place in the White House, look out if you supported him and endorsed his actions, because we'll be coming for you next. You will feel the vengeance of a nation. No stone will be left unturned as we seek you out in every corner of this great nation, for it is you who have betrayed us. She really said it's a quote from...
Betrayed us, huh? Betrayed her, huh? That's nice.
November 5th, 2017, please pray. Operators are in harm's way. High risk, high value targets. Please pause and give thanks to those who would die to save our republic. More to follow. Q. 3857, November 11th, 2019, indictments coming. Q. There's supposed to be like 200,000 indictments, sealed indictments right now. And some of them are in Michigan. A lot of them are in California, a lot of them in New York, and a lot of them in Washington, D.C. But indictments means once they unseal them, then they make the rest.
The storm is the declass. It's the declassification of Obama's spying campaigns. It's the declassification of the Russian collusion. It's the declassification of WikiLeaks, Seth Rich being shot. It's the declassification of the human trafficking, the satanic cult. It's everything.
So they're gonna open it up.
But Q said they will not reveal everything to the extent that it compromises national security. So only what the public needs to see.
They said there's some nations that it would be irreparable if they bring it out. So it would destroy the relationships of those countries. And that's kind of... But we ask that everything comes out. I don't care if it's stories, I want everything to come out. Including Kennedy assassination, everything. Every secret thing that they've had. All their secrets. Along that line is secrets of cures, alternative health medicine, medications and things and all that. That also is things that are coming out. Everything they've hid from the American people, everything they've held back. Even other sources of energy and things. We now live in a nation where doctors destroy the health. Where lawyers destroy justice. Universities destroy knowledge. Governments destroy freedom. And the press destroys information. And banks destroy the economy.
you ready for when it falls, Artie?
Which
What-
part?
Every part, you got it all together? Got a backup plan for when the power goes out? You got a backup plan for
No, we
gas?
used to have a backup plan as a family. Rendezvous point and everything.
Yeah?
We really planned it out.
This is one of the most important ones. November 1st, 2017. Think about it logically. The only way is the military. The only way is the military. Fully controlled, save and spread. Once 11.3 verifies its first marker, biggest advanced drop on POL. So they talked a lot about markers, that there's markers of these indictments, of that names that would be filled in. So Q has whole lists that like go from 1 to 100 or whatever of names and arrests that are going to happen. And he says that there'll be a first marker. Is everyone all right with this? I know that it's kind of challenging you today, but
What does first marker mean?
it'll be the first arrest.
It's the first one, okay. And you said that was posted, it's
And
gonna
the
be
marker
done
is,
today.
your marker is your marks up.
It's very close. It could be happening now. It could happen Friday. But the only way is the military. We don't know all what that means, but we know that they can't trust the judges. They can't trust the lawyers. They can't trust the justice system. So it'll be military tribunals, and they've already been preparing. And that's why we watched the movie on Nuremberg, to understand kind of what the military tribunals are going to be like. They don't get to appeal in military tribunals. It's going to be a lot of, these are your crimes. You know, it's open and shut cases. It's not going to be a lot of fooling
There won't be
around.
no judges, it'll be all the, like we seen, correct? All for the military. And
Yeah, and then hangings or executions.
Do you think there'll be martial law for a while?
There might be. There might have to be.
Yes, because we were talking about that today too, that probably would be martial law
For a while.
They're going to have to replace some of these community leaders and stuff. They're totally untrustworthy. They should be rounded up and arrested.
Yeah.
This is a picture of Donald Trump with a staff like Moses.
Wow.
You know, for a picture that he posed for.
Donald Trump?
Yeah. If anyone wants to come see it, you come look. He's holding like one of my staff.
Oh, it looks just like yours too, 'cause it's got the wood in it.
Yeah, yeah.
So we were all talking about bug out bags today, like homicide clothes and
It's good to have
things
that.
together,
Oh, yeah.
just in case you need to go somewhere or get away somewhere.
Oh, good idea. I usually have a suitcase packed, but it's not fully packed right now, so I'm gonna do that tonight. Yeah,
Because you never know what could happen.
exactly. Yeah, you don't know.
I mean, everybody here is welcome at our place.
Yeah, and we certainly have room.
Yeah.
You gotta get out of the city, you can't stay in the city.
It
You
will
gonna be
be.
dangerous?
It depends.
That's what
Ludington
happens,
might
you
be
never stay
okay.
in the city.
Oh.
This is a town though, it's not really a city, is it?
It's a town.
To them, it's a city.
People
Right.
from the city come to town.
Just got stopped.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
from
we're.
Grand Rapids, so I'm like.
Yeah, Grand Rapids would
is
be
city.
Muskegon.
Yeah.
Well, I'm from New Era, this is the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
There's no stoplight.
This is how the Nazis took over Germany. They banned guns. They got rid of God. They banned church services. They burned Bibles and books in the streets. They tore down statues. They got rid of any and all history they did not agree with. They got rid of the public police so only the rich could afford it. They put the country in a state of fear. They created domestic terrorist organizations that got rid of anything and anyone that disagreed with them. The brown shirts. Same scam, different century, new sheep. This is a picture of Obama and his pet. There's a lot of pictures of him with this young little girl. She traveled with him and did other things, and people, you know.
Oh, that's sick.
Oh. Oh, it's a child. Oh, that's good.
A deep, dark world is being exposed. The truth won't be for everyone. Have faith in humanity. They are the true patriots we will never forget. Let these coming days be remembered in our history as the time we fought to recapture the Republic from those evil bad actors and who for so long have sacrificed the good people of this land for their own personal gain. Fight the good fight. Let justice be served.
What are these other countries gonna do, like China and everything, when this happens?
Probably attack.
China's watching very closely. That's why we have aircraft carriers by China right now. And other nations. They're fully aware of what China's been involved in. The COVID virus in itself is an act of war.
Right.
But how do you deal with an act of war when a huge amount of your people are already with China? You can't do anything.
That's what I mean, what are they gonna do? Or are they just gonna back up and bow out like, you know?
They're going to back out and bow out. This is something that could have happened today, I'm not sure, again, because all we have for sure is a queue. Then we have different, we know different people that are close to these things and they get pieces and stuff, but there's also disinformation because the bad people read Q too, and they're trying to figure out things. So they have to say different things, and you know that's why it could be this day and it's not, or it could be that day and it's not. So they're not ready for it. So, you know, they're smarter than us with this stuff, and they're the ones risking their lives. But here's something about January 6th today. Believe me or not, doesn't matter. The 6th January electoral ballot count is going to go down as the greatest troll of all time. You may or may not know, but the vice president gets to count the electors. Oh, he's already betrayed, so that isn't what happened. Well, that would have been nice. Big Pharma donates how much to California and New York elected officials? Compare versus other states. Why are California and New York vital areas of control? Think ports, think legal protection. We will do our job to protect the vote. Will you do yours? Fight, fight, fight. Q. Stay together, be strong, get organized, be heard, fight the censorship. You, the people, have all the power. You simply forgot how to play. Together, you are invincible. They want you divided. They want you silenced to make noise. We are with you. Make it rain. Q. So, the rain's talking about storm. It's about exposing things and teaching people and these things. And are you ready to have a large number of famous politicians, actors, and media figures revealed as pedophiles and pedivores? Are you ready to find out about collusion and conspiracies which have killed millions of people? Are you ready to find out that politicians you have trusted have committed high treason and will probably be executed? If not, brace yourself.
What did I say the other night to you, Art? Hang 'em all.
All right, there's a lot of Q posts and pictures and things in the last few months about something red. And so there's these red 1, red 2, and so red 1, president's Twitter removal. So that's the catalyst to everything. When they remove him from Twitter, which could be Friday or before. Red 2, Central Communications blackout, continental U.S.
Oh, yeah.
Red 3, classified movement, or maybe declassified movement, Pelosi or Pence. Red 4, movement of military assets, 10th Mountain, 1st Marine, to central locations under guise of citizen riot control. Red 5, National Military Communications Central. Red 6, Secretary of Defense instructions, USSS Castle Rock. What is Castle Rock, Ari? The White House? Ari, what is Castle Rock?
I believe Castle Rock refers to the White House.
What?
It's speculated that what Dad just read, Red 3 to Red 4, has already happened today. It's speculated because they moved Pelosi and Pence out while the riots were going on, and then they had to send the National Guard in. So it's also a possibility that that's already going through right now.
we don't know. We haven't been on Twitter yet. And we can't talk to church, so find out what's
Yeah.
the latest. But
Where would they move Pelosi and Cruz?
there's lots of secret places and underground tunnels and underground cities and mountains, and
And they would move them instead of arrest them?
For now.
they have to move them. Maybe they're gonna arrest them while they're there. Who knows? Wealth, corruption, secret society, evil. Germany, Merkel, migrants. Why are migrants important? Assets. What are assets? Define assets. Why are migrants so important? What are assets? Why are migrants so important? They keep asking them. Operators, operations. Satan, who follows? What political leaders worship Satan? This is a Q post. There's a lot of these people do worship Satan. What does an upside down cross represent? Who wears openly? Chelsea Clinton openly wears an upside down cross.
Oh,
Why? Who is she connected to? Why is this relevant? Spirit cooking. What does spirit cooking represent? Cult. What is a cult? Who is worshipped? Satan. Why is this relevant? Then Snow White, Godfather 3, Speed, Q. So those code names. Godfather 3 has something to do with the Catholic Church and the Pope.
Did the Pope resign? Or no? They
There's
talked
something
about
about it.
Yeah, they talked about
What do you mean by the migrants?
yeah.
What's the migrants?
A lot of the Muslims were going, all over, the immigrants, the illegals coming from,
Oh,
and they're coming and bringing things and destroying the state. And they have huge rapes in Sweden and Germany and things like that, and Holland. They're losing their country because there's so many, and they vote, and they have such a huge population, and they start getting into politics, start taking over, and doing things. And
Sweden?
what?
Sweden?
Yeah,
Sweden.
yeah,
plus they destroy the economy wherever they go because they take all the resources
yes,
from the people that are there.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So it's been done deliberately.
I thought,
This is all getting ready for a global government.
I thought Sweden was more free because they didn't have any lockdowns.
They are with that, but they also have this. This is from 2012. Republicans hold the governorships, so they did then in 2012. Republicans hold the governorships of 9 critical swing states of Florida, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa, and New Mexico and Arizona. They also hold the secretaries of state offices in all those states, except Wisconsin. Electronically flipping the vote count in any of them with Hart, Interservice, Skydo, Dominion, or other technologies can be done quickly, simply, and invisibly with no public recourse. And that's exactly what they did. Here's their flyer. Here's what it is. Look at all those states. Those are all the states in lockdowns. Those are all the states that were taken over. They were taken over by voter fraud. And therefore, the governor of Michigan is illegal. The secretary of state of Michigan is illegal. The attorney general of Michigan is illegal. None of them were appointed. It was voter fraud. They're criminal. They're treasonous. They're traitors. And same with these other states. Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Arizona. All right, I've done a lot. I think I've worn you out. I'm gonna this last one. I'm gonna read military intelligence. What is state secrets and how is upheld in the Supreme Court? What must be completed to engage military over other 3-letter agencies? What must occur to allow for civilian trials? Why is this relevant? What was General Flynn's background? All right, what was General Flynn's background?
He was one of the top generals under the Obama administration. He was the Department of Defense or Department of He was the head of a department that had military secrets. He knew the trade deals, and he had the dirt on all the politicians because he was that close.
He also is expert in military tribunals.
So when Trump came into office, he said there's two people, Obama said to Trump when he came into office, there's two people you need to worry about, Vladimir Putin and General Flynn.
And then they framed Flynn and tried to send him to prison for... What was Flynn's background? Why is this relevant? Why did Admiral Rogers, the National Security Agency, meet Trump privately without authorization? Does the president know where the bodies are buried? So Admiral Rogers is one of the biggest heroes, and you're going to know his name soon in the future. He was a Navy admiral that was over the National Security Agency, and he told Trump that they were secretly spying on him and all the things. He told him all the things, and that's why he moved immediately his headquarters, because it was being bugged. And Trump is, and Admiral Rogers, I'm sure, is part of Q. I'll read this one more. It's only on the brink that people find the will to change. Only on the brink that people find the will to change. Sometimes you can't tell the public the truth. You must show them. Only then will people find the will to change. And so that's what these last few months have been, because people had to see it for themselves. They had to, and the last part of it was seeing how many of the Republicans that we voted for, prayed for, stood with, were traitors. Bill Huizenga, right now. I thought Bill Huizenga was a man of God. I thought he stood up for things, but now he's a traitor. Are they getting money from China? Who knows what's involved in these people? One of the things Alex Q always says is they're stupid and they are evil. He said these people are evil, says it over and over again. And I can read a lot of things about child molestation and pedophiles and things that Q also posted. But Ari, your turn to share for a little bit.
What happened today is the states, so they get the votes in November 3rd, and then AP Press, Associated Press, all that, they say, oh, well, Biden won these states. You know, they said Biden's president. But the electoral votes don't come in. They don't get certified till today, January 6th. So they go to the House of Representatives and Senate where they preside, and they're supposed to read from a mahogany box. This vote goes to Donald Trump from Alaska, you know, and they go, okay, is there any objections? Usually there's no objections. But because of the rampant election fraud, so what happened is Pence had the constitutional authority, and Trump did a speech today. I was telling Dad that I knew something was kind of going to go down, because the speech that he did today, there was bulletproof glass on both sides.
Oh.
And so he kept on saying, I really hope Mike Pence makes the right decision. I really hope constitutionally, you know, he has the power to do it. Let's see what happens. So Pence gets in there, and he submitted a letter saying that he really can't do anything and that he's going to leave it to the House and Senate. He'll listen to the objections, but constitutionally, he feels like that takes the rights away from the Americans if he were to reject the electors, because constitutionally, Georgia had election fraud, so Georgia can say, I certified these 18 electoral votes for Biden, and he can say, no, send me the correct set of electors. There's sufficient election fraud that happened, which means send me the Republican electors. So then what happens if Pence had done what he was supposed to do is there's so many more states for Trump that are for Trump, that what would happen then is each state would have a Republican elector and a Democrat elector, and they'd have to agree on what it was. And so it would be like Trump would win by landslide because he has all these states that he won. But that's not what ended up happening. Pence came out and said, okay, Arizona, he reads it. The Republicans stood up with a fat stack of papers like this high and this high, and they were all sworn representatives of the Senate saying, we object to this election. This is us signing. He said, all right, 2 hours to discuss. And then the craziness started happening where D.C. police started letting Antifa in. They literally bust them in. There's videos dressed as Trump supporters. A woman got shot by the D.C. police in the neck. She's now dead. An innocent woman. She was not protesting. From the video I saw, she didn't have anything on her. Right. So now it's the false narrative. This would be a good example of a false flag. Is taking all the Trump supporters
Right.
And then saying, oh, look at what the Trump supporters are doing, but it's really Antifa. Like Dad said, they're finding people that were at other rallies.
Well, it was already on my phone
Yeah.
on the thing today. Trump supporters crashed the White House, or the wherever they were at.
So I'm gonna read some. I'll read some quick Q post and give you the context. So somebody from the press office before this happened, I think it was yesterday, said, if Mike Pence is not there, the pro tempore will be Chuck Grassley. Senator Chuck Grassley, Dad and I go back and forth about. He's an old man, but he's one like BA dude. You know, he gets the job done, and he's been battling the deep state for a long time. And so when he goes on Twitter, he also does the comms, and people think he's like having a stroke when he's typing because it's not sufficient sentences. They're like, "Are you okay? Are you drunk?" But he's really saying things. So it'll say something like time number 2 to cut the corn, you know, and people be like, "What does that mean?" Because he's from Iowa, you know, and so they might think, "Oh, he's just bringing up about that." But the code word, the corn, is like the harvest, the D-class, the
Right.
everything that they're about to see. So this Q post 2274 says trust Grassley, and it's interesting now that Pence is out of there. I don't know what happened. He denied, he backstabbed Trump, didn't do his constitutional authority, and then Trump tweeted about it saying, well, it's unfortunate that Pence decided to do this or whatever. And then next thing you know, you have people storming the gates. Pence unfollowed Trump on Twitter. And so there's like all this craziness happening. They moved Pelosi and Pence and all the House of Reps and the Senate underground.
So how much of the electoral votes got done today then?
None.
So they
Right,
still
that was
don't know
their
anything.
goal.
No.
It probably was their goal.
It was the goal to disrupt
Right,
it.
to disrupt it. But now they got a guy that's been fighting them in there to take over, right?
Yeah, he's gonna do right.
So where'd that get him?
Which guy? Ted Cruz and the...
Grassley.
Grassley. I mean, he's
Oh, we
in
don't
there,
know. We've had church. We don't know because they had to set a recess and they all went underground for hours. They had to send the National Guard in. It got so bad.
But where'd that get the Deep South by interrupting it and
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
they might have dug a good hole right there.
everything's on time. They know what they're
Right.
doing. And Lynn Wood has been warning us about Pence all week long. Now, yeah, we trust him greatly, implicitly. We both had dealings with him, and he's a good man of God.
It's an attorney, right?
Yeah, he was just like one of us, and now he's like major. He was the attorney for the guy that was accused in a bombing in Georgia, whatever it was. Yeah, the Olympic bombing. Then he was the attorney for the kid in Wisconsin. You know, and just different ones. He'd take different cases, and he's a great man of God. He loves the Lord, and they're warriors. Him and Sydney. And Sydney, I got to prophesy to, even though she didn't know I was prophesying, but she acknowledged what I said to her. I'll be being a Deborah and stuff. And then Trump gave her the position that he gave her after I prophesied to her. So things like that, you know, it's not always a big news story and stuff. Sometimes it'd be a little thing like that God uses and still releases the word of the Lord. How you doing? Are you done, or how are we for time? We might just be
We're at like an hour and a half.
an hour and a half.
Let me just say real quick. So what had been that's been recently dropped is a lot of us had faith in Pence. Pence said he was God-fearing man, and then last minute he switched. There was a lot of evidence leading that he might not be a total good dude. But apparently there was emails that were leaked with him and Paul Ryan. I don't know if you guys remember Paul Ryan. He was huge.
Bad.
He's bad though. He's a rhino.
Okay.
Him and Pence had planned they were going to run together, and they were going to overthrow Trump back in like 2016.
2016.
Oh,
So this was already planned. Pence was going to be the president. Paul Ryan was going to be the vice president.
But it looks like Pence repented and was doing right, you know, the last 4 years. You know, he did.
And then he did
debate
this.
And all this, and
I thought they were talking about him running for the next 4 years.
they were.
Nobody's going to vote for him now?
I don't know. Kerr said that he was going to be president for next. I'd like Don Trump Jr. because I like him. He's more like me. He's more fierce. The senior has to be more.
So what is it that he did today
He betrayed the nation.
He didn't do the votes correctly?
Yeah, Trump would have won.
Oh, but he didn't, he approved the fake ballots.
He said he didn't have the power, which wasn't true.
Yeah, he knows it's not true. So he has betrayed the country. He's committed treason.
Oh, by saying he didn't have,
Yeah.
but he even knows the penalty for treason.
Yeah.
Did he believe that strongly, that he wasn't gonna be caught?
I don't know what they think, Carol. Like I said, a lot of them think they're gods.
It's like they think, yeah.
Well, Pence is also a Freemason, so.
Oh, he is?
Oh, man.
Well, then he'd be into it too, into the child.
We don't know who's into what.
We're about to find out.
Oh my goodness.
I just want to share a little bit about preachers. We watched The Hiding Place for church last week, and there was a preacher on there that when they had a little Jewish child that someone brought to them, and he was so nervous, and they're like, "Are you telling us?" And he wasn't like. He said, "You live in the country. The Lord sent you, and you could take this baby out in the country." And he's like, "I don't want anything to do with it. I'm not, I don't." So I don't think he turned them in, but he wasn't going to help them either. And he quoted scriptures about obeying the government and all those things. And those are the same things that they said during Hitler and communism and everything. If China took over, the first thing they do is go after the preachers, the real ones, and start telling them, and they'll quote scriptures to them about, doesn't your book say that you're to obey the government, that God created the government? You're supposed to, they know the scriptures are saying stuff.
You're not our government, and I'm not gonna obey you.
And so, with The Hiding Place, that cowardly preacher, and so many others, Lester Summerall said that he saw so many of the Pentecostal German churches when he had went there, while Hitler was taking over. And then he went there after the war was over, and he couldn't find any of the church or the preachers. They were all gone, dead, or whatever. All gone, banished. And so, there's been brigades in the Revolutionary War of preachers that fought in the Revolutionary War and fought on the side of our country. And there's been preachers that have fought and stood for what's right all throughout history. In 1 Kings 17, when Elijah fights the prophets of Baal, and they do other things, and he's the first God that answers by fire. And his altar, God sends fire and burns his altar. The devil worshippers are cutting themselves and doing all their stuff, and for hours, and Satan can't do anything because God's holding them back. And after that's over, Elijah slays 400 of the prophets and priests of Baal. He kills 400 of them.
Yeah.
400 men.
Wow.
The preacher killed 400.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going out with. That's what I'm saying. So people are saying, well, why are you saying all this stuff? You're fanatical and all that. I stand as my ancestors did. And we fight for what's right. Just like Elder Brewster when they were going to hang him in England. And he came here and became the leader.
Yeah.
So, we stand with God. We stand with Q. We stand for our country. For our ancestors that shed their blood. And we stand with the Lord Jesus Christ and seeing his kingdom set up. That's the opposite of communism. Amen.
Yes.